part of what started our discussion among us on getting Chad on was your video about cloud cuffing.
Yes.
So I wanted to,
Yeah.
to take an opportunity here for you to kind of educate our listeners on cloud cuffing, and maybe that'll dovetail in, Jeff, you can jump into on some of those other things that you're seeing in the sales process that we have to jump all over.
Yeah, so so we look at marketing, we actually call marketing mismarketing. So there's no such thing as marketing. There's mismarketing and education. And mismarketing only tells partial truth, and education tells the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? So cloud cuffing, cloud cuffing often is when a software company will sell both like a hosted and software as a service package. And what they do is they get the customer hooked in. It's an open labor agreement. There's no cap on labor. In fact, it's an incomplete labor agreement. It's very vague. And once the customer signs on for the software, they're hooked. They're literally handcuffed into that agreement. But the problem is these software is extreme, implementations are as tough as $2 steaks, as I say, right? And when you have an open labor agreement, it's literally like sitting in a casino and letting the casino decide how long you're going to sit there and how much you're going to bet. And they hook you into the agreement. Then the implementation comes. It's challenging as hell. You were told there's only going to be X amount, and the pattern that we saw, it resulted in between 200 and 400% in excessive overages. So they do that on purpose. Now, we came up with terms that you should include in your contract to protect you from cloud cuffing. And it started out as just a clause in the contract that deferred any payments on the software until the software was live. So instead of a normal cloud cuffing contract that would put full onus on the customer to get the software live, even though the sales reps said, hey, it's no problem, we'll get you live, we do it over time, it's really easy, it's a data import and churning, boom, you're done. So even though they'll mislead customers into thinking that it's easier than what it actually is, they'll get locked in, then they realize it's, if you put the term in the agreement that the software payments are deferred until the software is live, and you define go live, like for us, it's, AP payments are through the system, you're posting to the GL, payroll is done through the system, and you've got all of your historical AIA billings entered in so you can accurately bill out retention. We define go live, you hit go live, then the software payments can are in play. So that puts the onus on the provider who's saying they can implement, puts the onus on them to make sure you implement. That was the first term that we had, and we thought we had customers protected. But then when customers, we ran into some customers who were trying to switch from their software provider, and the software provider forced them into another 3-year contract because they said they would deny them access, so they didn't have access to the data that they own for the implementation process, thus enabling them to switch to different software. So they were cuffing them to their data through the terms in their contract. So get this, we're like, okay, well, negotiate, add in your contract to negotiate a lifetime license in the agreement to make sure you had access to all of your data that you own. And then what happened, we ran into another customer who did have that in their terms. And then, but what happened was the end user license agreement that came with one update, we couldn't identify which, but with an update to the software, the terms were changed and the lifetime license was deprecated. So they still nailed it. So now in our terms, you put the software fees are deferred. Then you've got the protection. You've got the protection with the lifetime license, and you've got to add in a third clause to say that with any updates to the end user license the end user license agreement or the software, that the lifetime license is grandfathered into future versions. Like, it was nuts to see the evolution of the toxic tactic against the terms that we were creating to prevent or protect people from cloud cuffing.